Hello, Dragon Ball Super family. I'm Legends Michael Carrick, and I'm here to bring you my take on a best of one Invoker deck list that I piloted to top 32 at the first PPG Regionals for the 2021 season. During this event, in no particular order, I played against Green Majin Vegeta, Red Green Baby Vegeta, 2 Vegeks, 2 Sin Shenron, 1 Dark Broly, and Mecha Frieza, winning 2 out of 8 die rolls and dropping my only 2 losses to both Sin Shenrons due to some poor deck building choices and critical errors in game. Let's leap into this Invoker Best of 1 Mark 1 deck list. So, at the start of the deck, and close to the top, I'm going to have my standard deck list choices, and then as we go further down the deck, we'll see some of my best one choices and explanations on why I chose to play some cards and why I didn't choose to play some ratios. So, of course, we still played Son Goku Apex of Power, or Son Goku and Vegeta Apex of Power is one of our 2 finishes in the deck. It contains Victory Strike and turns off all of your opponent's cards when it's played for 5 energy, except for their extra cards. It is important to try to peek at their hand if you're going to play this card, either before or after you play this card, to make sure you can remove either the most relevant combo power and or their negates. Then we decided to play 2 6-drops, and in best of 1 I'm even more adamant about playing only 2 energy explosions in the main deck, simply because you can't afford to have any kind of dead cards in your deck, which some of my deck choices later on will show how I go against that rule later. But 2 I still think is correct. We played 4 copies of Son Goku Rival Seeker. The 0 for 10 combo as long as you have a red blue multicolor card in the drop. It is definitely one of our best finishers in this game. And in a best of 1 format, you definitely have to be careful about people mainboarding Broly Crowns of Retribution. So you can't be so willy-nilly as to charge multiples of these early on. I still continue to play 3 Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta's Inspire techniques. You can't afford a second and third game in best of 1 format, so you can't afford to side one out. And I'm super greeting for consistency in the deck in this best of 1 format. A lot of people do see best of 1 formats as a coin flip format, but I do think your luck is built on how much preparation you do before you go into the event. And so if you can push for a hyper consistent deck, then you can most likely achieve your game plan every game. We still do play Forest Spears, Divine Obliterator super combos. Once again, with that consistency's sake, it is a red-blue charge, and it offers us a really niche play on turn 5, which I did pull off this weekend. On turn 5, for 5 mana, you can pay 2 to cast Divine Beerus Obliterator onto your field. Because he's a U7, you can then use your leader's Awaken Size effect to look at your opponent's hand and take out an answer to Rival Seeker that they might be maining now. And then for the last 3 mana, play Rival Seeker and go into your burn combo and finish him off for 3 life, or 4 if you have an extra cat blue in your hand. We still are playing a full set of the what I call fetch spells in the deck. These are your cycle spells. You can use them to look at the top of the deck. In a best of 1 format, how you use these cards change. For example, in the mirror match, you're going to have to hold on to Emperor Death Beams instead of cycling them. Versus Mecha Frieza, you can't cycle Death Beams. You're going to have to hold on to them. More often than not, you're going to have to hold on to your 3rd catastrophic blow that you see in the best of 1 format just to extend the amount of damage you can do. And especially because you're going to have to find creative ways to do more than 3 or 4 damage on your kill turn. And one of the ways to do that is to hold your 3rd and 4th catastrophic blows. Even Royal Condemnation has some uses in this best of 1 format because on turn 4 people are main decking Food the Dark Banisher, and you do need to have an out to it. If you have Royal Condemnation, it's a 1-for-1 out. Otherwise, if you have to hold up Emperor's Death Beam, you're going to have to spend an extra card just to use the Death Beam to get rid of the Fu. We are still playing 2 combination attacks for the best of 1 format. A lot of decks are going wide and just below 5 drops. For example, a lot of Heartfelt Pleas are sneaking their way into best of 1 format. Combination is an excellent answer to that. King Piccolo just won this best of 1 format, and it's slated to be one of the stronger decks for this format going forward. And combination attack is very powerful versus that deck when they try to swing with Tambourine. There's just so many reasons why this card should remain at least 2 into your deck. And of course, it's a red-blue multicolor card, so you can just search right through it. Sleepy Boy, I've always played it at 2, and I will remain playing it at 2. You just can't resolve this card that many times in a game, and even more so in a faster format like BO1. As decks go wider and faster in BO1, 4 Senzu Bean is an absolute must in my opinion in Invoker. Plus, there's a tech later in the game that later in the deck that I'll show you why we're gonna make sure we play 4 Senzu Beans. Of course, we are a blue deck primarily, so we do play the best in my opinion, the best control counter attack in the game. There's not much more to explain about this. However, if you do see these main boarded anti-baby what do you call it, silver bullets in their decks, there is no harm in just cycling this card to draw a card, or just negate with the card and do not untap two. Not much else to be explained about the 4 copies of Tournament of Power Arena in the main deck. You have to see this. You kind of have to mulligan all 6 cards to see this. And if you don't see this in your opening hand, you're going to have to kind of play around with your fetch spells to find a way to get this card. And oh my god. And then going into some of the more BO1 specific choices, we have only 1 copy of We're in This Together. I just didn't foresee hand control being very popular in a BO1 format, especially with aggro decks being so widely accepted as the best way to play a BO1 format. So We're in This Together loses a lot of strength when you're going versus aggro or when you're going versus non-hand control, and so we only brought it down to 1, and most of the time you're not really even resolving this card for its board wipe effect anymore today. We are playing 1 mainboard copy of Instinctive Reprisal. In addition to the fact that it is a red-blue multicolor card, extra card, meaning you can search for it with your fetch spells, and you can also recur it with your leader. One of the big things about this card is that it gets rid of the black Saiyan leader counter blue cards like the Goku and the Vegeta, while costing the same amount. With in terms of like trading thoughts with Cooler, they both cost 2 cards. Like Cooler, you're going to sacrifice a Beerus and play to get rid of those cards. Instinctive Reprisal, if you counter the Goku with it, you're still going to have to warp a different card from your hand, which is arguably better because you can warp like an extra card that you can later pick up with your leader. And versus the Vegeta, of course, it's only a 1 card answer. Not to mention you can actually negate those attacks specifically and get rid of them before they even get their boost, whereas Cooler sometimes struggles with that. And of course, I expected a lot of mono black or black mono Saiyan decks. Sorry, just black Saiyan decks to be running that package in the BO1. And then speaking of Cooler, we do have 1 copy of Cooler Tyrannical, so anyways, just to get rid of those silver bullets, he does ignore Barrier, so you can hit those cards that prevent you from using D-Magic. Not to mention, I expected Vegex to be quite popular in this format, and so he has a very positive response to Vegex. One of the many deck building choice errors I made this weekend was only playing 2 Violent Rays. It definitely punished me versus Sin Shenron. Sin Shenron's turn 3, 2 of the reasons why I lost my 2 Sin Shenron players was on their turn 3. One, I didn't have as many Violent Rays as I would have liked, and 2, I used a Violent Rays while they had 3 yellow energy up. It would have been super simple just to like either bait the Cooler with a D-Magic or just take the hits and combo out until they got down to 2 energy and then use Violent Rays, and I definitely won't be making that mistake moving forward. And we did play 1 copy of Topo. This is not a choice I was very happy with. This card is obviously better versus decks like Vegex, better versus decks compared to Violent Ray versus like Vegex, Launch, even at sometimes, and King Piccolo. But this card costing 2 mana is still brutal for this deck, especially when people main silver bullets. Oftentimes you can't use Dimension Magic to tap out or to untap yourself and then set up for a Topo play. So this probably will become a 3rd Violent Rays going forward in this BO1 format. And then finally, my new tech for this weekend, and something I think that will absolutely break this deck going forward, are 2 copies of Whis the Resting Attendant. Whis the Resting Attendant, for those who don't know, is a BT1 card, 10k power, 2 blue pips, 4 energy card, 10k for 1 combo. And he has an auto. When you play this card, add 1 card to your energy from the top of your deck. It doesn't say in rest mode, and because your top negates the energies off of all your red-blue multicolor extra or multi cards in all areas, even if no matter what you charge off Whis, it will come and play active. Well, this is really important because Rival Seeker requires 5 energy to be able to use his activate main to grab 2 catastrophic blows and play a 6-drop on top. Also, you need 5 energy to play Apex of Power. So in Standard, the idea was you had one of these, and one of these going into your turn 4, and you could do 4 damage burn play on turn 4. You would start your turn, you would use your top to, or you would charge your 4th energy, use your top to order what card you want to charge with your Whis. Then you would play your Whis, tapping out all 4 for your Whis. You would charge a top card, going to 5 total energy. You would attack with your leader. Then you would maybe cycle a card, Surge Awaken, activate a Sensu Bean, and now you have 3 open energy. And after the combat, you can play your Son Goku Rival Seeker, and then go into your Energy Explosion. Of course, the amount of damage that this goes is ranks anywhere between 3 to 9 damage, depending on how many copies of Rival Seeker, Energy Explosion, and Bean you have in your hand, all on turn 4. And this is, of course, incredibly deadly when your opponent is only waiting to prepare for your turn 5 for your kill turn. And so I pulled this off about twice this weekend, and it definitely caught my opponents off guard. But I don't know if I would play 2 copies of this card again moving forward. It definitely was a really neat play, but if you draw the card early, like I said, it's a 10k for one combo, so it's pretty expensive to combo off. It is a blue card, so you can charge it right away for top, but other than that, it has no other synergy with the deck. It just offered a really neat way to finish decks off early, especially these decks that go super low in health, super early, just to try to push you when you go down to 2 or 1 life really early in the game. And you kind of sometimes bait your opponent into making these rash plays so that you can finish them off early on your turn 4. So yeah, this was my take on a BO1 format, and I nearly forgot. I'm sorry, everybody. The leader I was playing it is, of course, the Sun Goku slash Invoker Ku of set 9. A lot of players are trying other decks or trying out other leaders with this core, and of course the reason why we play this leader still is because he can cycle every extra card in your deck to draw an extra card as an extra 5k mini super combo. If you have any questions about BO1 or what else I would change going into my Mark II version of this list, going to these future regionals for the season, definitely leave a comment, give Teamfo a like, and follow us for more content.